Hey everyone, welcome back to Trend Guards. So we had 4 massive policy drops hit the news this week. And look, while they might seem like totally isolated events at first glance, they're really not. They actually form a perfectly unified, verified blueprint of a brand new AI power structure. Let's dive right into this explainer, because what we're looking at right now isn't some far-off forecast of the future. It's literally the real-time rewriting of who controls artificial intelligence on a global scale. We're dealing with hard, verified documentation today. We're talking paper trails spanning all the way from the White House down to the state level in Pennsylvania. And these documents prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that the rules of AI are being aggressively rewritten as we speak. This isn't just about simple software updates anymore. We're talking about foundational models, military deployment, international diplomacy, and the actual physical infrastructure. Literally, every single layer of the AI ecosystem is being either locked down or completely accelerated.
Okay, so let's start with the White House's pretty controversial handling of frontier AI model regulation. This is a story that fundamentally changes how the biggest AI labs are going to operate, and the paper trail here is very clear. Back on June 2, 2026, President Trump signed Executive Order 1449, which directly mandated the creation of a testing framework for frontier AI. Fast forward a bit to August 3rd, and the White House announces, hey, we finalized that framework. But here's where it gets highly unusual. Just one day later, on August 4th, Axios published a verified report revealing that this finalized framework, it will not be released to the public. So the rulebook absolutely exists, but is being kept completely under wraps.
Under this voluntary program, participating developers are basically expected to give the government access to their frontier models for up to 30 days before making them public. Now think about that for a second. Because the framework is kept secret, these developers still don't fully know what criteria they're actually being judged against during those 30 days. It's essentially governance by ambiguity.
Naturally, this level of secrecy immediately triggered some serious civil society backlash. The Electronic Privacy Information Center, or EPIC, came out and stated bluntly that the White House AI framework protects AI companies, not people. EPIC's main critique here is that by hiding the actual testing criteria, this secret framework prioritizes corporate AI adoption over transparent public safety. They argue it completely fails to address the full scope of potential AI harms. And why does this matter so much? Well, it creates a really stark two-tiered system. Axios confirmed that open-weight models are entirely exempt from this new framework. So on one side, you've got closed US labs facing a heavy 30-day regulatory burden with totally secret testing criteria. And on the other side, open-weight competitors, including those developed internationally, mind you, are completely exempt and can release freely. It's a massive policy choice that places a very distinct, heavy burden right on domestic closed model developers. So while civilian models are facing these secret regulations, the military is taking a drastically different approach. The foundational document we're looking at here is National Security Presidential Memorandum 11, or NSPM 11. Its 4 official pillars are adoption, adaptation, assurance, and responsible use. But if you read between the lines of the official documents, the overriding mandate for the national security enterprise is absolute speed. The motto being documented by military analysts right now is literally speed over caution. The ultimate goal is to aggressively accelerate AI adoption and get these advanced models directly into the hands of warfighters as fast as possible. So what exactly are they rushing to deploy? According to a really detailed analysis by Defense One, this new tech strategy sets some strict priority areas: AI, autonomy, and multi-agent swarm intelligence. And this is specifically intended to drive military deterrence against China in the Indo-Pacific region. But Defense One also notes a pretty critical detail here. This massive procurement push heavily favors just a few big defense tech unicorns, while largely leaving out the open source builders who actually pioneered so much of this technology in the first place. As you can imagine, this creates immense friction between military speed and lab safety. Just look at Anthropic's CEO Dario Amodei. He stated publicly that generative AI simply isn't ready to safely power fully autonomous weapons, and he added bluntly that he is not willing to help. So the absolutely crucial point we need to watch is this tension. What happens when the underlying technology labs say no way, but the military doctrine dictates go?
That military acceleration we just talked about leads directly into international diplomacy. Both Mainichi Japan and Reuters have now officially confirmed that President Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping are scheduled to hold a high-level dialogue this coming September. And the explicitly confirmed agenda for that meeting? The risks posed by advanced AI systems and their military use. Guys, this marks the very first Trump-era bilateral AI dialogue, and it officially elevates compute power and artificial intelligence to the exact same diplomatic tier as nuclear weapons in trade agreements. It's a huge deal.
The posture going into this summit is fiercely competitive. I mean, President Trump just recently stated at a White House summit that the US is #1 in AI and framed China as #2. That definitely sets a highly competitive, rather than, collaborative, tone for September. On the actual agenda, they'll be tackling export controls on chips, the massive data center expansion happening over in China, and those all-important military guardrails. Both nations realize that whoever controls the computational infrastructure basically controls the global balance of power.
Because at the end of the day, none of this cutting-edge software actually matters without the physical land and power to run it. And this brings us to a massive, massive development at the state level. On August 18, 2026, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro signed Executive Order 2026-05. Suddenly, tech billionaires are waking up to the fact that local zoning boards might actually be way more powerful than federal agencies. Shapiro essentially declared war on what he termed predatory developers and enacted the nation's strictest guardrails on AI data centers. What this brilliantly illustrates is that the absolute biggest bottleneck for AI scaling right now, it isn't a shortage of silicon chips, it's local neighborhoods. It's physical land.
By looking directly at the state's official press releases, we can see exactly how drastically the environment has changed for infrastructure developers. I mean, it's night and day. Under the old process, data center projects enjoyed fast-track permitting, and they used non-disclosure agreements to kind of hide massive land grabs from local communities. Under the new process, those NDAs are completely banned. The fast-tracking is gone. Developers must now meet really strict, transparent standards for both energy affordability and real community engagement. And the enforcement mechanism here is no joke. Any data center demanding over 25 megawatts of peak power must now execute a legally binding consent order and agreement directly with the state of Pennsylvania. Listen, this is not just some simple zoning permit. It is a strict, legally binding commitment to environmental and community standards that has to be signed before a single server rack can even be powered on. The reactions to this policy give us a really clear, full picture of the political landscape right now. On one hand, environmental groups like the NRDC heavily praise the order, specifically for forcing developers to foot the bill for their own power grid upgrades. But on the flip side, reporting from the Penn Capital Star criticized the order, noting that it still relies pretty heavily on standards that were previously just voluntary. But honestly, regardless of which side you take on this, it definitively signals a rising national trend of local political resistance to the massive physical footprint of AI. When we synthesize these 4 verified stories, a truly cohesive picture emerges of exactly who is fighting for control. Step 1. The White House attempts to regulate the foundational models, albeit in complete secrecy. Step 2. The military rapidly procures those exact same technologies through NSPM-11 for autonomous deterrence. Step 3. That new military power instantly becomes high-stakes leverage in international diplomacy at the upcoming Trump-Xi summit. And finally, Step 4. Literally none of it can happen unless developers can secure the physical land and power to run it, which states like Pennsylvania are now fiercely guarding. AI is no longer just a cool digital technology, guys. It is a comprehensive stack of physical and geopolitical control. We've laid out the verified facts, the documents, and the real-world policies rewriting the rules right now. So I want to leave you with this final thought to consider, based on the evidence we've covered today. Should federal AI testing frameworks really be kept secret from the public? And as local governments step in, is slowing down physical data center expansion a necessary protection for our communities, or is it a critical blow to global competitiveness? The fight over every single layer of this stack is happening right now, today, and the outcome is going to define the next decade of global power. Keep examining the sources, stay informed, and we'll see you in the next TrendGuards Explainer.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. It really helps the channel grow. See you in the next video.